Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I apologize for the delay in the live stream. I was scrambling around, just a lot of stuff going on. So, welcome to the channel. This is John from Flippin Ain't Easy, and hopefully, we have a pretty good live stream today. Looking at, like always, usually around an hour, depending on your participation. And basically, for those of you who are watching, please put your comments and your questions in the chat. There's usually a lot of good conversation that goes on in the chat. I'll try not to read the sidebar comments during the program. Sometimes it's really hard when you're kind of in the middle of a conversation and you're trying to discern the questions for you versus someone else. So I apologize in advance if things don't go 100% smoothly, but you know what? It's live, and I can't edit my way out of this. So comment down below. Of course, if you're watching this after the fact, maybe you can't make it live, but I'll still try to get to your questions if I can, and other people will as well. But no matter how you're watching this, please hit that like button. It helps the channel. I'm really encouraged by the channel lately, and a lot of good views. And as a YouTuber, here's the thing. Let's be honest. YouTubers don't do this because they don't want to get seen. Okay, so views are definitely a motivating factor. Okay, and building the channel is kind of what I want to do here. And through your participation to make these live streams happen, that's part of it. But I do hope that you guys would just hit that like button if anything in this conversation is interesting to you. That's really all I ask for. So let's see who we have here. We have Justin Ashley. We have Stephen Diller. We have Biscuit Butt. No One Design 2. Woody Hayes are in the house. We're at about 21 people. That's about right for when we start these things. Usually get it up to over 60, 70. And maybe, it's Friday. People are kind of winding down. Maybe we can get this thing to over 100. But I think a lot of it is topic specific as well. So I'm going to get started here before I get to your questions. Just a couple things, really. And the first thing that I wanted to chat with you guys about is my chargeback situation. I just had one, and I got to tell you that it's different than any chargeback that I've had to deal with. Let me just put it that way. In that received a message from a buyer. Now, this buyer, I have a lot of these shelves for whatever reason that I got lately in these pallets. And it was like 30, 35 bucks or whatever, not including the fees that they had to pay. And I'll tell you about that in a second. Nothing was wrong with it. Brand new shelving. And I don't think there's an issue with the item anyway. And that's not what the chargeback was for. I get a message from the buyer stating that they did not receive their item. The carrier threw the item in the rubbish outside. So I'm like, okay, rubbish. Okay, that's odd. We don't call it rubbish here. We call it trash can. And so it led me to think, okay, this is a UK person. So it was late at night, and of course it was early for them. And I just kind of replied, hey, check with the carrier, that type of thing. And the next morning, got up, have a message from eBay saying that there is a chargeback. In fact, I can get the exact verbiage, but it's basically a chargeback, and they wanted me to respond. So I didn't go in the right way to respond because I knew that they're going to ask me just to verify the tracking information. But I went in and checked, and this particular package, because it was over 3 pounds, it was sent by global shipping, eBay global shipping program. So like I said a while back, I'm doing international shipping for my smaller items. And on my larger items, I just don't want to be bothered with shipping really large items overseas or anything like that. So if it's over 2 pounds, if it's 3 pounds or more, I will ship it through global shipping program and just be done with it. So that's what happened here. And check the tracking. It got to Erlanger, Kentucky just fine. They shipped it out through a courier called Hermes, Hermes. And the tracking showed that it arrived just fine. It was delivered. And in fact, they gave the buyer a pre-warning that it was going to arrive between like 2 and 4. So the buyer, knowing that, okay, it's delivered, how do they know that the item was thrown in the rubbish, the outside rubbish, rather than delivered to the door? That's their assertion. And so when I went back to the dispute, the chargeback, I added the Hermes tracking information, and it didn't give me anything to upload. So it's not like your normal chargeback where it's item not as described or received broken item or whatever it is. This is a non-receipt chargeback, and the only proof that's really relevant is the actual tracking information. And it kills me to this day why eBay throws it back on the seller, since they already have all that information. All I'm doing is going in and fishing the information that they have. Now, for me, okay, I sent the information, and of course, you guys know what a chargeback is. It was like 50, 60 bucks after their fees or whatever it was, because of the global shipping that is withheld. I think only like the 35 of that is held from my side, because I never collected the global shipping money in the first place. But the bank, the credit card company, pulls that money immediately. So you don't have any way of accessing those funds. Thankfully, it's a small ticket item. So I called eBay, or actually requested a callback from eBay, and got some guy in Colombia, which is better than getting the Philippines office. So had a conversation and basically said, don't worry, this is going to be covered under the seller guarantee, because it shows delivery and you actually shipped it through the global shipping program. So what that means is the money's not replaced right away. It may take up to 90 days for the credit card company to get back to eBay and let them know their verdict. I mean, it's the buyer's assertion. My question that I couldn't even ask for the record is, how does the buyer know it's thrown in the rubbish rather than, Porch Pirate taking it? So I didn't do that. I didn't throw it in the trash. If it's the carrier doing it, then she needs to contact the carrier. But nonetheless, you can't do that with eBay. You just have to submit the tracking number. And they said it can take a few weeks to 90 days. But at whatever time that is, when they get the decision from the credit card company, if it's found in the buyer's favor, then I need to call back eBay and they will go ahead and make me whole and give me my money back. And I guess my question was, well, why would you even take money out of my account anyway if it's going to be a guaranteed thing? Regardless of how it goes here, whatever decision's made, why is this coming out of my pocket? I didn't ship it however you shipped it. You chose to ship it with Hermes. Don't even know if that's a reliable company, but nonetheless, you shipped it that way. And my hands weren't on it. My obligation as a seller was to get it to Kentucky, and whatever fell through after that shouldn't be on me. But they said, this is how it is. This is their policy. Now, my question to them was, okay, so let's just say that this same thing happens where I'm shipping it just the international shipping rates without global shipping. This was maybe a pound lighter. I would have done that. Would the outcome be the same? And his assertion was it wouldn't be, because I would have to deal with like any insurance claim, that kind of thing. But eBay wouldn't have been involved in that, and therefore the seller protection for that type of situation doesn't apply. So for those of you who utilize international shipping, just something to keep in mind. If you're dealing with a high value item, you may want to consider just using global shipping. I know it's cheaper to ship it through the international standard rates. I get it. But sometimes you really just need to spend a little extra to make sure that high priced item gets to where it's going. Lastly, just want to say that I've been really fighting this summer slowdown. This heat is relentless. So I'm out here in the garage, just working away. And by the time I'm done, I'm just drained, and I'm not doing anything differently. I feel like I'm just in a sauna, and it's just killing me. I'm not complaining at all. It's just the way it is. I'm going to have to change my strategy a little bit, maybe work on my photos, just do my photos all in one shot and just bring it in here and do my listing. I think I could be a little bit more productive that way, because I'm just not so drained. And maybe in the winter, I can go back to my original strategy of just listing it and coming in here and editing it at the end of the day. But until then, Sales are still slow. Last few days have been a little better, but I've been doing a lot of tweaking. So again, I'm taking maybe 20 items at a time. They're about to end when I do my sell similar process. And I'm really focusing on what I have in my title. And guys, I got to tell you, there's a lot of bad titles out there, and I'm guilty of it myself. We really got to do a better job of our titles, and that's going to make a heck of a difference. I can tell you it's made a little bit of a difference so far with my sales. Not a whole lot, but a little bit's better than nothing. And I'm also trying to utilize promoted listings to where I'm not over promoting for no reason, since it's only a small component. And I can't say small component, but it's only one component in the overall search process when a buyer is looking for your item. Plays a big role, but there's other factors. I think the title is more important, if not as. And that was in a video that I came out with on Wednesday. If you guys want to check out that one, I'll try to leave the link after the fact here to the video. But you know, it was really an eye opener for me. So if you're trying to understand a lot about or a little bit about the you know, Cassini and best match search, I think just watching that video and, you know, catching different things that happen during that process will really give you an understanding of what's going on. So that's what I got for you today. Hopefully you guys got some good questions here. Let's go ahead and start with Justin Ashley. Getting hammered by the surcharges. eBay won't do anything about it. Shipping services won't talk to you without an account number. It monkey in the middle, really looking for some advice. Well, I had that problem about a year and a half ago. So you're talking surcharges with your shipping. I'm assuming that. And it's what it is when you deal with, let's just say FedEx, they're a big one, UPS sometimes. You'll send the package out. You think everything's fine. It weighs what it should weigh. I mean, you have the right measurements. You have everything in line, and it's delivered. And then here you go. eBay is charging you like $18 more. I think on the average, when I dealt with FedEx, it was about $18 more for the actual delivery above and beyond what eBay quoted me. And, you know, if you're selling a $30 item, that just wiped out any profits you made, that type of thing. So there's not a whole lot you can do. Now, you can call eBay. You can tell them that you want someone to give you a credit for those, you know, have all the information, the item number, the exact amount that was charged over and above what you were quoted by eBay, and just say, hey, I want you to give me a credit. That worked for me one time. One time I was given a credit, but every time after that, and even through various reps and I think there's a shipping department, but they went in and put in a request from FedEx. And we know how those requests go. You may never hear anything. I never heard anything about it after the fact. So I can only assume either it was A, denied, or B, the money was just put in their coffers and I was never told about it. So yeah, it's not fun. Now, you got to figure out why that's happening. Now, I figured out after months as to why that's happening. What I do, a lot of my packages, I'll use I'll bubble, even if it's a box, I'll put a couple layers of bubble wrap over the box, and then I will put a poly bag over the box for a couple reasons. It adds a little bit more protection, and it disguises what's in the box. You know, your porch pirate is going to grab things, I guess, regardless. But, you know, if you're sending an item out that's halfway appealing, you know, someone might say, "Ooh, I need a new one of those," and stop and grab it, you know. So don't want that to happen. And I think I've never had any complaints from customers. Of course, you still have your mishandling by a lot of your carriers, but that's nothing I can do. Whether I kept it in the box or added extra protection and a layer of bubble, I really don't think that that's going to change how these people handle even a fragile sticker. But go to UPS. UPS Ground, I haven't had a whole lot of problems with them. And if you're using FedEx, and it's funny, I had a call I received today out of the blue, and it was FedEx. Wait, let me get this lower. You can see my neck. Okay. It was FedEx that called me. And I'm like, why are you calling me? And it was account manager. He's like, I've been assigned to you as, you know, your representative. And I'm like, okay, but I haven't used you guys for like a year and a half. And I told him why. And he said he was going to contact me with more information on Monday. He's going to look into, you know, those charges. So Don't know, maybe they looked at my video and contacted me and, want my business again. I don't know what it is, but, I think sometimes it just takes that level of attention. Maybe you do need someone to reach out to you from FedEx before they finally take you seriously, because no one I talked to before this ever even offered even to look into it. So I will not ship with FedEx unless they change their ways. And, for me, I was out like $300 after it's all said and done. So something to consider, but try UPS Ground. Stephen Diller, Gab By, Biscuit Butt. What's up, everyone? Hey, what's going on, Biscuit Butt? Hope you're feeling better, man. No One Design 2. Hey, John, first time on time for the live power outage in New York. Watching FAE on generator power backup. We had a nasty storm yesterday. Wow. I think I saw a video somewhere where they had some blackouts in like Ohio. And as I was coming on to the live stream through StreamYard, something about how there's a YouTube outage in Brazil. So, I don't know if I have a lot of people watching me from Brazil, but those folks are not able to even get onto YouTube right now. So a lot of crazy things going on. I swear, if power goes out here with the 110 degrees, it'll be just horrible. So let's just hope that doesn't happen. That's for sure. Woody Hayes, 2 things that are not easy: pimping and flipping. Well, I don't know about the pimping part. It hasn't gotten that bad yet. So I'll let you know if it does. But yeah, that's pretty funny. Biscuit Butt says, what's up with the garbage on the table behind you? You know what? This is a mess. I got my patches down here. I honestly have just been nonstop just running around. Good news. Have a new residence as of the 8th of next month, and probably moved in more closer to the middle of the month. Finally got that taken care of. There's nothing like having the uncertainty of like having a timetable to figure it out, and then you're just scrambling around. I'd like to think that this is probably the perfect house as far as not too big, but it's no upstairs. I don't have no one walking upstairs. In Vegas, like most of the houses are upstairs, and it's going to larger garage, right? It's going to allow me to sort of maybe make a little area out of the garage that's going to be better for my videos, and it's going to be a little bit more pleasant to watch rather than just see. And I'll still have my sign, my Flippin' Ain't Easy sign. But thanks for asking me about the garbage. The garbage is going to be even worse between now and the time we move, because anyone that's moved knows it's just hectic. And honestly, I'm a real person. You guys know that. You guys are probably sitting there with your own garbage on the table, and you know what? It's fine. We live in our houses, and that's just the way it is. Art Betzold, how are you doing? Thank you for hanging out with me today. We have Jane Hogue, or is Hogue or Hague? Hey, Hogue. Hello, new to the channel and the business. Well, there's a lot of good stuff on this channel. We talk about reselling, and there's a lot of things. If you check over the 300 videos I've done, there's a lot of stuff for people to learn from my mistakes. And that's kind of what this channel is about. It's about learning from your mistakes. And I'm no exception to that. You'll never hear me come on here and say, I know everything. And maybe that's not what some people are looking for. They want someone who knows everything. But I promise you, there's a lot of people who act like they know everything, but there's still people out there that maybe put that face on that are still learning every day. No One Design 2. Yeah, what Biscuit Butt said Cowboys and Raiders. Nothing wrong with my Raiders. I don't have any Cowboys back here. This is all Raiders stuff. So definitely not a Cowboy fan. That's for sure. Joseph Spurns is in the house. Thank you for hanging out. We have Kevin Hawthorne. Thanks for hanging out with us today. He's very consistent. He's almost always on these live streams, and appreciate you for being here. Io Rhino says, do you plan on selling sports cards? The ROI on them are super nice and easy to store. I have some sports cards. In fact, I have probably about maybe a small box full of them from stuff that I've just kept over. I think I have like a 95 Derek Jeter gold, not graded, but it's in a case. Frank Thomas rookies, just stuff like that. I have a Trout rookie in my plaque over here. Picked up last year Shohei Ohtani and a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. rookie cards that are, I think the Guerrero was numbered. and they're graded 10, but it's by a different company that I think it's called First Graded. And, I was told because of that, it's not going to carry the same value, but it's okay. It's protected. And at some time I'll send them off to the more distinguished grading companies. But right now it boils down to source. Like I never would have known 2-3 months ago that I would be selling military patches. Right. So anything, I mean, if I come across some sports cards that have a good purchase price, you got to believe it. I'll be on it. And I have a secondary account that I use now for my collectibles that I come across. So I'm all set to go. Woody Hayes says, Brits are weird. They still worship a queen. What do you expect? No, that's not fair. They started speaking this language before us. So, we adopted our own language. But yeah, some words I kind of still find puzzling, like bloody or rubbish, that type of thing. But mad respect to those folks out there. That's how they're raised. We're raised with a different dialect of the English language. So it is what it is. Ashton C. Global shipping program changes 1.67 to anything sold with global shipping on top of all regular fees, or they charge actually 1.67. Yeah. And it is what it is. I'm going to get hit for what eBay paid me. And I already have been. It's already been deducted. It's just a matter of waiting for this. It's not like it's a lot of money, but it just a learning experience. Be careful when you're shipping just standard international. Really focus on and ask yourself, if this thing comes up missing and the buyer charges back the transaction, am I going to be comfortable losing this money? And for the shelf, it's not a big deal. But maybe if you have an item over $7,500, maybe that would kind of irritate you, or maybe bother you, or maybe it could impact you in some way. So just be careful. Global shipping does have some protections that international shipping by itself doesn't have. Victor says, hello. How you doing, Victor? Thank you for hanging out with us today. Noah Design 2 says, yeah, John, asking common sense questions. The eBay is like asking the sky why it is blue. Yeah, but the sky won't tell you it's brown. Sometimes you ask easy questions to eBay and they won't even give you the obvious answer. You have to call back and get someone else on the phone. Let's see, from Biscuit Butt, I had a similar situation a while back, but not global. I have my same concern about hold my money. I'm going to get it back anyway. Got the runaround, but the next day it was closed and put back. So let's hope, and I guess part of the reason for me to call eBay in that situation was to say, hey, look, you guys see that I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I was maybe hoping they'd close it, because what they want you to do, this is what they want you to do. They want you to, of course, they'll send you the notification that the chargeback was found in the buyer's favor, right? So that's what they want you to just forget about it, or they want you to not notice it. And in turn, guess what? After a certain amount of time, well, that has expired, and guess where that money gets to go? Stays in their pocket. They don't have to reimburse you like they're going to have to reimburse me. Gail says, Our talking to eBay today, saying my listing is not compliant. Contact link and ad and its manufacturer's address. Seems like BS to me. Yeah, they don't want any URLs. Let's say if you're looking at like an Amazon listing and you're trying to take the bullet points and copy them into your listing, which, by the way, every drop shipper that you're competing against right now is doing that and getting away with it. If contact information is in there, it will flag your listing, even phone numbers, addresses, and all that. They don't want anyone giving out that information to a potential buyer who might go, eBay's the middleman. They'll find a way to the actual manufacturer and buy from them. Let's see here. Gail says, yep, they'll tell me to blur it out. Jane wants to know, when looking at pallets, what is a sign that the pallets have been cherry-picked, or can you only tell after you break it down? You can only tell really after you break it down. And the reason is return pallets, if you're looking at a pallet, you can tell by the quality of the external packaging. Are the boxes all like just beat up? Some good ones to look for, if you can come across some pallets that have boxes that look fairly new, you're going to end up with better content usually. A lot of times, unless you're there in person, going in and picking out the pallet, and you're just doing it online, you're not going to really be able to see that. Take time to, you have a way of looking at the items that are on the outside of the pallet. So you can take time to look up those items, try to get an idea what the item is sold for in the last 90 days, and do that for, as many items as you can see. Of course, they don't let you dig in the pallets usually. And that'll give you an idea, if you don't have a manifest, if it's something worth dealing with. So, just depends on who you're dealing with, and if they give you a hard time, to say, hey, you know what, I'm a reseller and I don't know if this is something that I want to deal with. So I'm just looking it up or contacting. So they don't even need to know what you're doing on your phone, but take the time. Don't jump into a pallet without really doing as much research on it as you can. I'm going to have I have a little juice drink here. It's not the Fox News Cup of Life, so I promise. I apologize. That's a little reference to Mr. Joe's channel from Crazy New York Driver. I doubt he watches my live streams, but just in case, and it's my Angels, by the way. That's my team right there, even though they are horrible. And that's all I'll talk about the Angels here. BXX32. Hi, John. The diecast buyer that threatened me with a neg earlier this week opened a return request for item damaged, which I accepted and sent USPS label. The next day, the buyer closed the return and sent me a message saying, since you don't want to work with me, I leave you a negative. Yesterday, got the neg for him, called eBay, and they removed it. Right. Because, and that was the worst thing that he could have done, was to actually reply that he was trying to call your bluff. So to me, the worst thing, I don't mind the return label. To me, the worst thing a buyer can do to me is even open the return, because that automatically is a ding on your account. So eBay measures your performance by how many returns per items you've sold. And even if they open it and say, close it right away. Now, this is a fault return. If it's a buyer remorse return where they're paying for the label, or if you have free returns, change mine, that kind of thing, that doesn't count against you. It's the item not described, the item damaged, that kind of thing. And once they open the return, even if they cancel it and keep the item, eBay will not remove that from your metrics. I've already tried that I had high returns. I figured out that I had like 10 returns that were canceled or, for whatever reason, were not legitimate returns. And as soon as I talk about a return, I get a darn return request. Isn't that great? But nonetheless, oh boy, we need to start talking about sales. I need to get some sales coming in here. But nonetheless, they are going to do that every time a buyer gets in there and starts using that threat of leaving a negative. Miriam S. So what happened? They were overcharging shipping because you put it in a bag. Well, FedEx, they don't want you. And I had this discussion back in 2019 when I dropped off an item at the Kinko's FedEx facility. They said that we can't accept this. I'm like, what do you mean you can't accept this? Well, think of a poly bag, right? It's bigger than the box, and it's folded to look just like the box. And I have eBay tape, my eBay tape here, and I wrap around the perimeter, around the sides, the tape, so it's form-fitted. The box is form-fitted to the bag. But sometimes you can have some puffery, if that makes sense, from the item where it's not taped down, and they claim that it can actually get those sides can get caught up in their machinery. And okay, fine. So I go in and use some clear tape to tape that down. Just tape it all the way around. I mean, I'm using a lot of tape, but that's fine. And they still are trying to charge me a surcharge because I'm not shipping it in a legitimate box. So they're equating it to me like trying to ship a trash bag full of stuff, which is not at all what I'm doing. So until they fix that, I ain't going back. Let's see. Jason Neal says, do a video on your new YouTube studio build, please. Yeah, it's not going to be anything fancy, though. It's going to be, I have to keep room in there for my racks need to keep room in there for my photo booth. And I'm just going to do it a little differently this time. And I'm trying to figure out, why does it feel like this double garage is bigger than the one I have right now? And I'm thinking it's a little longer. And that being the case, that's going to be really awesome. It's going to be very, very helpful. But, I'll get in there and get the measurements. I'll start mapping it out. But certainly, I need to do a lot more videos on a lot of just the stuff that I do in general. I'm really bad at that. I don't have the social media mindset that I need to have. Put those small little tidbits on Instagram and maybe some of the other ones. But it's something I'm going to try to do better with. And maybe it's something that you don't want to see on YouTube. But if you are following me on Instagram, and certainly you can, Flippin' Ain't Easy 2020 on Instagram, you can certainly see some of the behind the scenes videos and things that I post there. Vegas Valley says moving to Henderson. No, not moving to Henderson. Moving to almost as far north in Las Vegas as you can go. North Las Vegas is what it's technically. I know North Las Vegas has a lot of places you don't go, and certainly I did my homework on this. There's a website you can actually go in and plug in your zip code, and it will tell you your crime rating for that zip code. And that was important to me. And this place got like a B minus. Now, considering where I am right now is a D minus, and considering where this is a great area. I've never had one single problem. Now I'm gonna knock on particle board here, but I've never had one single problem here at all. I haven't known anyone to have any problems out here. So, and I know North Las Vegas is not the most notorious place to live, but this is in a gated community. It's like just the perfect setup. And from the people I was talking to that live there, they have excellent neighbors. That's like a family. So kind of looking forward to that. That's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah, it says, I used Twitter eBay with issues. I had a negative review taken off last night. I was so happy. Yeah, it happens. And you know what? Save yourself the phone call when you have a negative. And you know what? The worst eBay can do is what? Say no, right? If you have a negative, go on and there's a negative feedback removal form. Do not call eBay to have your negative taken care of, because they're just going to fill it out on your behalf. They don't make that decision. It goes to another department. You have a better chance of explaining your situation as to why you have the negative more effectively, to where they are more willing to remove it than some random person who's just waiting for the next phone call. So do yourself that favor. Every time you get a negative, contact eBay and try to justify as to why it shouldn't be there. And if it's deserved, it's deserved, but at least you're still making an effort to take it off. Let's see. Jason Neal says, if you couldn't do pallets at all anymore, what's your next move? My next move would be probably to go. I haven't done Goodwill in a while. I mean, that's definitely a backup plan. Just been so busy lately with a lot of everything going on. Yard sales, be more in tune with that. Archie and I were supposed to go tomorrow. Poor guy's feeling kind of off. I don't know if maybe we're going to go this weekend. We're probably going to put it off until next weekend. But yeah, maybe the yard sale gigs, and just see what that entails. At this point, I'm going to start reaching out above and beyond a lot of different liquidators. That's still going to be my main way of picking up merchandise, but I need to expand my operation a little bit. And I think sometimes we get comfortable and we find something that works, and it keeps working and it works, but it's getting worse. It's not getting any better, but we still hold out hope that that pallet we bought 3 years ago is going to show up, and we buy that pallet and it doesn't show up. We try to make the best out of the pallets that are out there, which they're not as good as they used to be. And for that reason, I'm definitely thinking it's time to kind of branch out to other sourcing avenues. And I think what Archie's done, that guy, he's been a great friend, showing me, what he does and showing me what's possible. I mean, thanks to him, I got these. I've made about $4,000 to $5,000 last month over with patches. Who would have thought? So just something to keep in mind. Just liquidation's nice. It's easy, can sometimes be really easy, But I think sometimes easy isn't always the best way to go with eBay. Miriam says, I copy paste the description from Amazon and the HTML was a code that flagged by eBay. So always, when you're doing that, there's a lot of people tell you shouldn't be doing that. And I'm not going to be the one to tell you that because, again, you are going up against dozens, if not hundreds, of drop shippers who are selling the same item, representing that all the stock photos that is in the Amazon listing. And they also have carried over the code or the bullet points to help sell that item. They're doing it. eBay's still letting them do it. I mean, eBay knows that drop shipping is a big problem. They're saying it's taboo. They flag the accounts, but yet these people continue to sell on our platform. And if you're out there drop shipping, you know what? God bless you. I have no problem with you. Used to do it myself, but I don't want to sell anything on eBay where I'm looking over my shoulder constantly, wondering if they're flagging my account, why my sales are down. Is it because they've flagged my account? And then getting that email from eBay wanting you to provide invoices and you're not able to. So nothing personally against any one of you out there who's doing it. If you can do it successfully and get away with it, hey, awesome. But for me, it's just, it's not worth it. Let's see. No One Design 2 says pallets are not only the only inventory source, but their smaller wholesalers and liquidators are in the same cases better. And right. And I'm doing that ASD next month, even though I'm gonna be in the middle of sort of a move and unpacking and all that. Still going to go to ASD and see what I can find and, get the phone numbers, get the emails, and start building relationships with wholesalers and finding a few products that I can sell in bulk. Because there's another thing I found out. If you have that item that is has multiple quantities, you have that ranks higher than a single quantity item. That's for whatever reason, eBay thinks that's a better listing. So just something I'm really, if I had in a perfect world, I'd have 100 items in my store and each of them would be replenishable. And I would be pretty happy with that. Yes, please. Let's talk more cha-ching than returns because I have no idea what is just got returned. I was looking at my phone and it doesn't want to really show me much. And I'm not going to click off of here to interrupt that. So it's not that big of a deal. It's a return. It's a return. That's fine. Sometimes you get hardly any, and sometimes they just come in bunches. So it is what it is. Victor says, never ship standard. I don't want the risk. I agree with you. Don't want the risk on standard international shipping. That's for sure. AO says, what is this eBay growth advisory email some sellers are getting with the promoted listings partnership opportunity? What is that? That's a good question. Anybody know what that is? Normally by now we'd have Tommy Barnhart in the chat to kind of help us with this, but I've not heard about that. I wonder if that has to do with that whole account manager thing where you give them access, you give them permission, and they start looking at trends. They start looking at promoted listing rates. They look at ways to kind of help get your item sold. And if that means lowering the price, raising the promoted listing rates, that type of thing, that may be what it is, but you have to give them permission to do that. It takes the set it and forget it. I guess it enables that where you can just keep listing and they'll take care of the stuff to maintain your listings for you on your behalf. But I think you have to have a certain volume of listings. So maybe you have a higher volume and that's what's causing them to get to you there. I personally, if you have the wherewithal to just handle it yourself, then I wouldn't involve eBay. No One Design 2 says, hit the cha-ching like button. Yeah, the same thing. That like button to me is the same as a cha-ching. Well, not really, but if you guys all hit the cha-ching button on my eBay account, it would be pretty awesome, but I'm not going to go that far. AO says, what's the website for the crime rate grade? Well, if you go by, just do a Google search, crime rate by zip code, just like that. The first thing will come up will be crimegrade.org. And you just plug in your zip code and it'll tell you like a map. It'll show you A is green, red is F, and it'll give you, all the stats for violent crime, property crime, other crime grades. So yeah, that's what you want to look at if you're wanting to check out your area. No One Design 2 says, hey, John, just an FYI, Mercari sales are up for me lately. I have my eBay listing mirrored on Mercari and sales are up 7% at the moment. It's outperforming eBay. No, I am cross-listing. I have, I'd say about almost 200 items cross-listed over from eBay to Mercari, and that's out of 700 listings. I'm really not taking a whole lot more time to do it. I see, the thing is with this cross listing, I don't want to say, okay, tonight I'm going to cross list for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is. That's an hour or 2 hours I really don't have, and I probably will just forget about it and just not do it. So if I incorporate it into something I'm already doing, which is after this item's about to recycle itself to that new 30 days, before that happens, I'm relisting, actually not relisting, but sell similar and ending the item. And then once it's sold similar and I go through that entire process, I go back to page 1 where these new items that I just listed are, and then I go in, select them all, use Prime Lister, and I don't have it in the description just yet, but it'll be there down below. So if you're watching this after the fact, you can utilize Prime Lister, and that program will help you tremendously. And if you're not using Prime Lister, I think you're missing out. You're going to have to do a little bit more manual stuff if you're not using Prime Lister and programs like that. I go in every day before I sign off for the day when I'm done with my listings and cross listings and all that. And I'll run a little tool that's set up with Mercari that allows you to set 10%, 15%, 20%. And anybody who's liked your item on that platform on Mercari is going to get a notification of an offer. It's like sending out best offers, right? And I don't have to do that. I don't have to go through my listings. It's going to each one for me. It takes about 15, 20 minutes, but I don't care. I'm shutting my monitor off. I'm going upstairs. I'm done for the night. And I can let that process. So it's in there now. If you want to click on the link down below for Prime Lister, and that should give you, I think it's down there. I guess I didn't put it in there. Oh, well, I'll put it there later. So nonetheless, you can check out the merch if you want the Flippin' Ain't Easy Flippin' Ain't Easy merch, and it's the links at least in there. So give it a look if you guys want. AO Rhino question: if I bought an item 2 years ago and just sold today, and it sold for a loss, do I report that in my taxes, or are losses not part of income? Losses are a part of income, because when you're reporting a loss, you're reporting the cost of goods. So I spent 20 bucks on this item, right? And so I report at the end of the year. Now you're not going to do it individually in most cases. You're going to do it as you buy the goods. You say I've spent 2,000 on this lot, but this costs average out, let's say, to 20 bucks. I only sold it for 15. Well, at the end of the year, you're going to have all your cost of goods reported. You're going to have all your sales reported. So your sales numbers are going to be included. But if you're running a smart eBay business, you're going to have more positive returns and profit than you are going to have losses. You're not even going to see the loss at the end of the year when you do your taxes. So I wouldn't really worry about that. Aurora 3K says, hey, Flippin, do you know Cincinnati Picker? Have been watching you two for a while. Gotten to reselling cards and video games and made 1.2K in sale in my first month on eBay. Really enjoying it. Know of Cincinnati Picker. I doubt if he knows of me. Certainly would love to do a collab with the guy. He's a Cincinnati Reds fan. I'm an Angels fan. Not a whole lot. I guess there's a lot in common there. Two teams that have been bad for quite some time. He seems like a good guy. I watched his videos before when he used to do that podcast with Lonnie. I don't know if they still do it anymore. Lonnie from Shed Flips or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think he's a good guy. Let's see. Jane says, how do they set them if they don't know what's in them? Or if they said that they don't know what's in them other than from Amazon? So a lot of times you'll buy the mystery ones, the mystery lots that you don't know what's in them. If you are online and you're looking, a lot of times you'll just be able to see what's in the photos. You use whatever tool you can to really zoom in to try to find. So one of the challenges when you're looking at a photo, it's really hard to see what is that in that box. And if you were there looking at it, you probably could see what's in the box. So trying to find out what's in the box, having a good eye to know what some packages look like some packaging looks like. If you're looking at a Nintendo Switch and you don't know what a Nintendo Switch box looks like, you're going to be oblivious if you're only seeing part of the box in that pile, right? But if you have an eye for that kind of thing, you can go, oh, I see a gem in there, and I don't think anyone's picking up on it. This happened to me a number of times. And you buy it, and you get it, and it's exactly what you think it is. Sorry, guys. So that's the best way to do it. Now, if you happen to come across any Russian women that, and Archie will laugh about this one, any Russian women that are selling Amazon mystery boxes, and they're all priced differently, and you ask them why is this one priced in the same size box? Why is this one priced differently than that one? And they tell you, I have my ways. Run as fast as you can for the hills, because those people they know what's in those boxes, and they're pricing them accordingly. So we had that encounter, and I thought that was pretty shady. And I mean, you have to be pretty dumb not to think that's shady, but nonetheless, we didn't do any business with her. Let's see, BXX32, do you have the same issues with buyers sending messages asking questions that already have been answered in the description? It happens way too much. It happens way too much, but there's a reason for it. A lot of your buyers are now gravitating to buying from your phone, okay? And so if you ever look at the app and you pull up a listing in the phone, just pull something up, do a search and pull up the listing. The description is not there. The item condition information is there if they filled it out. If it's not a new item, there's a link that says item description in blue. You actually have to click on that link to get the item description. And if you're putting all that information in the item description and they're not seeing it, that's because they're probably looking at the app. So I will try to put as much pertinent information in the item description part of it, or the condition description part of it, in addition to the item description. So I have it in two places. So, if they come back and say, hey, you never mentioned this, I can say, yeah, I mentioned it twice in the listing there. But some people just don't read, that's for sure. Lee Hayes says, here in Tennessee, you can go to the TBI, I guess Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's website, and see if there's registered sex offenders living near you. I think that's pretty much any state. You can, and you can see how close they are from you. And you would be surprised. We did that check when we lived in California, and you'll be surprised the number of results that pop up. It's pretty sad, actually. We have Lasuro Probodana. Okay, I hope I didn't butcher your name. I apologize. Thank you for hanging out with us today. No One Design 2 says to Jane, the company who buys the truckloads of pallets will never tell their sellers how much they bought it for. The price is set by the company that bought them. Sometimes you will have liquidators that'll put and this happens a lot online. They put an MSRP, right? And you got to be very careful about that, because even the ones that are manifested, sometimes, and this happens way too often for it to be just a random mistake. A lot of times they'll list an item as being worth $2,000, but it's only worth 20. They didn't put that decimal point in there, and it jacks up the MSRP. And you're looking, going, wow, I got a $2,000 item in here. And you look at it, and it's like, well, this is a cable for, a USB cable for something. And it's like, wow, and I didn't notice that. So you got to be very, very careful with manifested items. Bottom line with liquidation is sometimes you're just gonna have to take a chance. You're gonna have to take a chance and buy a lot, and to let them know up front, look, I'm looking for your best lot. This is the kind of goods I'm looking for. This is the kind of goods I'm looking to stay away from. Steer me to the best thing, because look, I'm looking for someone to buy from constantly. And if you want repeat business, you're gonna have to sell me some good goods, good items. Most people that run an honest liquidation business have that in the back of their mind. They want you to come back. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting on pallets, right? Word of mouth. There's a saying, like, for every bad experience that person tells 10 other people. They don't want that type of word of mouth. Most places aren't out to get over on you, I think. So just maybe go in, take a dive, bite the bullet, do your best due diligence to find a pallet that has decent items in there. You're looking up the items you can see, and learn from that experience. That's about the best I can say. My first pallet I bought was horrible, and even after that, I bought a few pallets that I regretted, lost a couple $1,000s on, only because of my inexperience. But I learned from it. I moved on. I found better, and I'm okay. I'm better for it. Count it as a $2,000 lesson. Wanda says, where does one get the MSRP if not listed openly? You can look it up, like usually go on Amazon. So it's like, if it shows, there's a certain item there, you see a bunch of them there, go onto Amazon or go to the source where they claim the liquidation lots from, and try to look it up that way. Tommy says, I've been here, asked a question 45 minutes ago. Did you? No way. Did I just skip you? I don't know. You know what? I'm looking at StreamYard, and I can swear to you right now, I don't see you anywhere here before that. That's really weird. So I apologize for that. If you want to ask it again, certainly I'd appreciate that. We've got, right now it's 51 minutes in. We have 77 people. So I think so far we're going so good. I've kind of caught up to you guys. So we'll keep going here. We have LSGS Rob just got in. How you doing, Johnny boy? Sales have been good for men's clothing. So I have men's clothing. I only sell the new stuff that comes in these pallets and liquidate pretty much everything else that's not a really, really top brand name. And for me, it's just been okay. So again, you're into a niche, I think. And I think that's pretty big too. If people know that they bought, a couple items from you last time, and here you are offering maybe a coupon discount, or they just had a good experience with you before, they're probably going to look at your store before they, come to me or look at just general search. Sales have been a little bit better, but when I say a little bit better, they're not near where I need them to be. I'm thinking I'm still down like 15%, 20% from normal. And again, that just has a lot to do with a lot of different factors. The factors I can control, I'm working on getting my titles better so they appear higher in search, getting my prices more competitive. And, you just can't just do that all in one day with 700 items in your store. It does take a little time. I'm still listing, still being consistent. And my sourcing, looking for better opportunities to source. So I'm trying to get better. And this part of this experience is you guys get to go along for the ride, so you can learn from what I'm doing right or doing wrong. Jane says, bought our first pallet a few weeks ago and knocked it out of the park. Don't want to rely on luck. Trying to learn on due diligence, but you can remember what items you liked in that pallet, what items ended up selling quickly for you, what kind of items didn't sell so hot. And so the next time you come across the pallet and you have an idea of what's inside, you can steer clear of the things that weren't really doing well for you. 97 Deep Valley Road says, I love you. Fashion advice from someone with no fashion. You're a great chair. Hat and chair makes you look like you have a long flowing hair. That's wrong. Okay, I won't take that the wrong way, but I do have some fashion. I just was in such a hurry today. Honestly, with the hat, I like gray. I mean, I'm probably the only weirdo that you've ever known or seen that will tell you one of their favorite colors is gray. And the reason why I enjoy gray so much is because when you pair it with other colors, those other colors just pop. And I really like gray for that reason. Not because I'm just a blah-ish person. I mean, you guys might think that, but I'm not. Jana says, I can't get over the rubbish. Yeah, I just don't understand it. The bloody rubbish. Who throws? I mean, what carrier is going to say, you know what? I'm 5 feet away from the door, but I'll just throw it in the rubbish over here. No, I don't think that happened at all. I think the porch pirates came and got it, and they're trying to find a way to get their money, is what I think. Tommy says, what's your thoughts on the Postmaster General killing the Postage reseller program? Shippo, ShipStation, Pitney Bowes, all losing discounted rates with eBay and Amazon included. Ooh, I didn't know that. My thoughts would be that's horrible. And I don't know if they have a contract, maybe their contracts may be expired. I think that would move over to pirate ship. That's scary because, then I'd have to start saying, okay, what's full retail? If we're not getting any discounts, what is full retail going to look like? I would have to maybe seek out a company that still offers that. stamps.com. Maybe they give you that free scale and deals on postage, that type of thing. But they don't really want that, because what's happening is, if you ever go to a post office on a Friday afternoon, I mean, it's a line out the door. Can you imagine if you tell people you can't buy postage anymore at a discounted rate? They'll be like, all right, fine. I'll just start going into the post office and buying my postage there. I'm sure they'll do it. If you take the ease of buying postage from eBay, and maybe you're saying that they're just going to take the discounted rates away, they'll still offer postage. I still think it's going to add a little bit of traffic and less. That can't be. You're going to turn a lot of people away to UPS.com and FedEx.com if you do that. So that'll totally change reselling as we know it. That's for sure. Angry Twin now says it's going back to school shopping. Yeah, for right now, if you can get your items, your clothing, your kids' clothing, your supplies, laptops, things that someone would need in class, that kind of thing, get those items up. It's always good to be about a month ahead of when the rush comes. Do you ever buy on Aliexpress or Alibaba? Never have. I've been intrigued. When I was looking at, what is the name of it? Zeek Analytics. When I was looking at Zeek Analytics, really checking that program out, that would be an excellent way to find really profitable items that you can source from China. But you know what? They are literally like one bad day away from, causing problems out there. And if you think stuff is stuck in port right now, just wait till they, heaven forbid, go over to Taiwan and start messing with them people. There's a lot of volatility right now. And I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on products to have it shipped to me. And then you're dealing with a port situation like we had last year. It's getting better, but it's not where, it was before. Aurora 3K says, gray is such a good complementary color. I like it. I mean, it makes the red in this hat pop. I mean, if I had like white on it, it wouldn't be so good. White's my least favorite color to wear because you know what? It seems like, and I guess you guys this is more of a TMI comment, but I go out to, let's say we go to a Mexican restaurant, right? And I love my chips and salsa. Not good with white because there's a chance I'm going to spill that right on my shirt. I'm just going to be honest with you about it. Vegas Valley Vintage says, I love gray. And I just do. I don't know. I think one time we made a trip to Seattle. We took a trip to Seattle and I saw these really cool paintings that had a gray background with like really colorful. The artist had like a lot of colorful stuff in the painting. And I'm like, wow, I like the way that pops. And ever since that trip, gray has really just caught my attention. I just love gray cars. I love gray vehicles, that kind of thing. So it is what it is. And how are the Angels so bad with Trout and Ohtani? You guys watch baseball. It's because they have no real coach. They blamed it on the manager. It wasn't his fault. And it's really just boils down to having the right pieces in place, and they don't. Totally killing the program. Now, that could be actually two different ways. It could be horrible, and I'm killing it that way, or I'm actually doing a good job. But if you think I'm doing all right, please hit that like button. I certainly appreciate it. But I got to tell you guys, I mean, Tommy, you for whatever reason think I'm interesting enough to come and hang with for an hour, and I appreciate that because you know what? Maybe I guess I'm not giving myself enough credit, but I just don't know. I don't know if I'm interesting or not. I think that's what a lot of YouTubers have to come to terms with. Sometimes they come to terms with it in a bad way where they think they're all that in a bag of chips. But my thing is I'm always trying to understand, how do I have 12,000 subscribers? And maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit. I feel like I work hard at the channel, but I appreciate people like you just coming and being consistent and, helping this program. A lot of times in the sidebar chat, you're answering a lot of people's questions. And there's a few others, No One Designed Too, Biscuit Butt. There's a lot of you that are in there just trying to answer questions. And that only helps me because you guys have a lot of experience. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Rick says, makes me look like a cone head. I'm going to switch my hat around because I don't want to be a cone head. And a lot of times, and I'll give you another inside trick or a tip as to why you might see me wearing a hat sometimes versus others. I feel like some days I just have bad hair days. I don't have a lot of hair, but honestly, that thing kind of bothers me. And sometimes, my hair is really not all that great anyway, and I'm not going to go out and dye it. I'm just who I am. But sometimes you'll see me just throw on a hat and a shirt just because, hey, I want to be somewhat presentable. And I'm sorry that it makes me look like a conehead. I'll try to do better. BXX32 says, had to ship an item using FedEx Smart Post because buyer had PO box. This is heavy UPS ground item. Took 24 days. Wow. Amazing that the buyer was understanding. Well, if they are 100% understanding and you have that conversation with them and say, look, it's going to take a little bit longer because the alternative is to pay more with priority shipping. And that might kill your interest in even doing the deal. But the fact that they were understanding, they didn't need it in a rush, I think is good on your buyer for working with you on that. But you certainly have the option of canceling that transaction, though, if you need to, by way of address. Rick says, I'm a conehead, but he still likes me. So thank you. I appreciate that. LSGS Rob, how had sourcing been for you? Well, sourcing for me lately is, I bought this. Well, Archie and I, Biscuit Butt, we went in halves on a couple 16-box mystery box pallets, right? And the first one he didn't like. It had a lot of stuff in it. The seller that I like dealing with, we dealt with a different seller who tried the same model. And literally, these are pretty big boxes. And you had boxes that had one item. I'm talking like one item at the bottom. You had, plenty of room for another 20 of those items, but just one item. So it was, the items we did find were pretty good, but it was very disappointing. So I don't think I'm going to do business with that particular seller anymore until they fix their ways there. Woody says, interesting fact about the spelling of gray. The British spell it gray, Americans spell it gray, and both spellings are acceptable. So one with an E, one with an A. I always thought that gray with an E is more of a masculine spelling of gray, and A for gray would be more of a feminine spelling of the word. And that's kind of how I've always thought of it. Sometimes you see a lot of listings and it's spelled either way. And yeah, it's one of those things. Maybe that's the answer. So awesome. I didn't know that. Tommy Bernard says, No One Designs is going to be interesting. Pitney Bowes handles 750,000 customers that big. And I'm sure Pirate Ship has a ton as well. What's their reasoning for that? They can't say that chasing potential business away is going to help them with their revenue. I don't know. I'm at a loss for that one. Rick says, just for that, I just subbed your channel. Keep up the great work. So if I have to tell you guys I'm a conehead every time just to get subs to help me grow this channel, I guess I'll do that. Water Baby says, I recently discovered that thrift stores by university have lots of cool stuff at better reasonable prices. People getting rid of stuff and then end of term and poor students, so prices are marked lower. First thing that comes to mind when you say that is books. I ended up getting a brand new textbook in this last lot. Haven't even listed it yet, but looks like it's worth something. And I'm going to list that here very soon because the new semester is starting, and hopefully people are looking for that particular book. But yeah, you're definitely right. There's other things as well. Victor says, in regards to the title, what's your advice? I sell antiques and collectibles. So that you really have to know what you're dealing with. I mean, I can really see myself going out buying antiques and collectibles like these patches. I learned as I went. Do I really? And I'm only into that for 10 cents per item. That's if I fail and fall on my face, then it's. I think I was out $225. $225. If I lose that, it's just a learning experience. I can get that back after a few successful sales. I can't imagine buying expensive antiques, $20, $30 at a pop, and then trying to flip them and finding out that I can't even get back what I put into it. But you know what? I'm open to anything once stuff starts drying out. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but I'm seeing signs that it's getting harder to buy liquidation than it used to be. And Sherry says, haha, Fox News cup of life. Well, this is my Angels cup of last place, if that helps you guys. My strawberry, banana, and I think mango juice with a bunch of shaved ice for my Ninja. So I thought I was making myself a little slushy, and because I'm not drinking it fast enough, it's just sitting there melting, but it's okay. Ashley Sims says, hi, everyone. Taking a break to feed my face, tweaking listings, starting to add best offers. Never been a fan of that, but going to try again. You know what? Your competition is doing it. And again, I think the mindset we need to adapt is either we're going to start charging admission for our museum, get up, put the signs out in front of our door, or we're going to have to start finding ways to move our items. Like I said, 3 weeks I'm going to be moving. I have in my garage a very large rack that I picked up at Home Depot. It's one of the largest racks they sell. And I have my larger items on there, my larger big items, the stuff I really don't want to mess with, but they end up in some of these lots that I deal with. I'm getting those up on auction this Sunday. I'm doing a 1 week auction, and I'm starting them off at 99 cents. Some of those items are worth hundreds of dollars. I don't care. I don't want to move that stuff. Again, I'm not trying to relocate my museum. I simply want to get rid of it, and I'll buy it again if I think it sells well. No one is going to let a perfectly good $300-400 laser printer just sell at 99 cents. It'll get bids. I won't sell it for what I'm quite hoping for, but that's just one way to do it. There's people out there, if you go look at your competition, there's stores that only sell with auction. They don't do any fixed price listings. And some stores sell with like $3.99 shipping when you know it's going to cost every bit of $10. But they sell a lot of items, and it all absorbs. It's all goes into one basket. And I mean, if they keep doing it, it's got to be working, right? So just look at your competition. I made a video on that a few weeks back, actually maybe a couple months back, to know who your competition is, and get in there and take an hour, do your research, see what they're doing. Why are they selling the same item and you're not? That's something that you need to figure out. Aurora 3K, it's like color and color. It depends on where you're from. Favor, and stuff like that. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. And the thing you want to crack up, go on to Amazon and some of these third-party brands and read their descriptions and see how bad of English that they're typing up. They'll use like a combination of like color, and then it's really hard to figure out sometimes what they're even talking about. Some of the phrases that is translated over from, I guess they're just using Google Translate to translate over to Chinese, from Chinese or whatever country that they're doing this from. It's pretty comical because sometimes it doesn't make sense. Kaylin says, yay, I never catch anyone live. We'll have to replay later to see what I missed. Listing on eBay while watching in hopes of pleasing Cassini. Anyway, just wanted to say, hey, y'all. Well, Kaylin, do me a favor. While we're looking at your YouTube here, hit that notification bell. That way, when I put together the live stream, you're going to get notified, and you can be part of the next one when we launch live. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Collecting Chaos says, I always thought gray was a name and gray was a color. It's both. I think there's some baseball players that have gray spelled both. One has an A, one has an E, I think. No One Design 2 says I spell it gray, but I doubt that's going to come up in any searches if you do that. Tommy says lost of words are aggregated by search, and it doesn't matter which you use, they get the same results. Gray with an E versus an A, and VTG versus vintage are two examples. Same exact results in search, no matter which variant. So if you are actually looking for, let's say, something that is vintage, and you put just VTG, and my listing just has the whole word spelled out, are you saying that they're going to see my listing in search? I'm curious of that. I didn't think eBay was that advanced, to be honest with you. Lewis says, no, Rick Lewis says, no. You spun your hat around. It's all good. Keep up the push to success. Well, if it was my hat that had any involvement in it, believe me, I would have it straight forward every time. Woody Hayes says, hit university thrift stores week before after graduation. Pro tip, kids realize they can't fit all the stuff they collected in 4 years in a sedan heading back home. That's really good to know. I think we'd have to hit one over by UNLV, I think, to take advantage of that if they're living on campus or near campus. But that's definitely good. Ashley Sims says, I have my eBay items imported to Bonanza, and the past several months, sales are getting more frequent. Just started dabbling with Mercari. I just can't take Bonanza seriously. If I'm being honest with you, I just can't take them seriously. I guess you can, it's not a lot of work. You can sign up an account with Bonanza and just link it, and you don't have to do any work. But just to deal with, I guess you have a working PayPal account. They'll just send it through PayPal. Knowing me, I'd forget to even check Bonanza, and I would just forget to ship it out. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. Most people don't use vintage properly anyway. In the collectible world, vintage is 50 years plus. I thought it was 20. So here I am talking vintage with some of these patches. I thought it was 20, and antique was 100. So maybe I'm wrong on that too. I'm learning something today. Tommy says, "Yep, do it live. Look at total results both ways. Some numbers, just type in vintage in search and enter. Then another vintage. Total results will be almost identical." Awesome. That's good to know. I just haven't had the need to look for vintage, but to know that if I run out of room on my title and I have 3 letters left and it is vintage, then yeah, I can throw that in there. So that's good to know. Victor says, people like myself listen to you because you're honest, helpful, and down to earth. You offer a sense of community, the opposite of how I feel about eBay. And that's a shame. eBay really, I mean, I know they're watching these channels. I know they're reading these comments. So just makes me wonder why they're not listening to the majority of sellers when they, they want to see eBay more involved in the seller experience, more in touch. That's probably the best way to say it. More in touch with the sellers than they are. These little seller events that they have here, like every month or every other month, is not enough. And when you try to engage, they back away. It's just not, it doesn't work. Water Baby, some people say marking a package do not bend or fragile makes it target for damage to the mail. Is that a rumor? I've never heard of that. I have thought of that when I put my stickers on there on the fragile boxes, but I haven't seen that. No, I think it's happened one time where an item arrived damaged and I had that on there. I hate to think that someone's doing it intentionally though. Oh, Miss FAE went upstairs. I guess it's time to go. She came down for her break. So she had a break about 3 o'clock. She's working right now. She's on her last day of training before she goes and starts taking calls in the real world. And, she comes down to get a little snack or whatever. When will eBay actually hire real eBay sellers? Oh, sorry, that would make no sense. Well, they kind of hire you the moment you sign up, right? Because you don't have full control over your business. You still can't tell eBay, this is the demographics I want to deal with. I want to deal with people who have established accounts because maybe some of the items I have are pretty expensive and I don't want to deal with, someone coming on here just to scam me. I mean, it's a very small percentage of the time, but I think there's some people, if you watch and read the posts on some of these forums where sellers go on and say, hey, I got this item. Is it safe to ship? Or I'm going to say, is it safe to list on eBay? And if you give them the control, the peace of mind to be able to open their listings up to, let's say they have to have 10 feedback to even get, a chance to buy it, then that should be on the seller. But eBay, here we are. We're their employees. What choice do we have? Where else are we going to go to sell these goods? I mean, you can go to some of the other sites, but you're just going to come back to eBay because this is where the traffic is. Ashley says, has anyone noticed that when they take the eBay surveys, they send that their sales tank for a few days? I kept track for 6 months, not filling them out anymore. I don't even mess with their surveys. It's just, another third-party company gathers the data. They report it to some executive in the front office, and usually the comments aren't even looked at. It's more of the results of the questions they're asking you that they're looking for. Rick says, but to hire as employees, directors to help direct eBay would make more sense. They have them. They have directors. They have people in those boardrooms. The problem is the only ones that sell on eBay are the folks that they have left in the United States that are handling these phone calls. When you get a US rep, chances are they sell on eBay. There's a lot of times you get someone on there and they'll tell you, hey, I sell on eBay too. And, I can relate to your frustration or whatever. You get somebody in one of these, seller check-ins, and while they may know the answer, they don't want to share it. They want to be as forthright as a rep would be as to what the real problem is. And that I think is a shame. So they have them there. I just don't think they are seller focused. That makes sense. So guys, we're at an hour and 16 minutes is usually when we kind of just say, see you for the day. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here, being a part of the program. Again, I only had like 15 minutes of content, so I would have been, maybe only 15 minutes if you guys didn't show up. And you guys make this channel. It's not me. I mean, really, I learn a lot from you guys. I share my experiences with you guys, but it's you guys that make it possible. So thank you. Hit my like button and hit your like button later, but hit the like button, and it does help the channel. And I appreciate each and every one of you. But you know what? If you happen to deal with a chargeback, like I've dealt with one, don't make the mistake of sending an expensive item via international shipping. Use eBay's global shipping rates, because if you happen to get a chargeback, you're going to win either way, regardless of the outcome. But you know what? Chargebacks is just another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent weekend, and I will talk to you here